Good evening, everybody. Madam Roy here. Well, I'm back with another cooking video. Since you guys seem to like that one I did a few months back with Margaret, the best fried chicken I've ever had, I thought we'd give something else a try. Tonight, we're going to be cooking pork chops. And I have a nice, simple recipe for you guys. It really doesn't take too long at all. And it really makes some delicious pork chops. Now, I'm going to go over the ingredients, and they're very simple. You can get any of these at your corner store. Some of this I actually picked up at our Dollar Tree. So the first thing you're going to need are some pork chops. These are just assorted bone-in pork chops. I like using the bone because as you cook it, it keeps it a lot more moist. I have used boneless pork chops in the past, but they've dried out even in the oven, so these are just the ones I like, and you guys can use whatever kind you want. And for the spices, again, very simple. The first thing I use is this minced garlic. You can actually find this right in the dollar store. This came from Dollar Tree. You get an 8-ounce pack of it for $1. And I know you guys can't smell this, but this is really potent. This is just as good, if not better, than squeezing your own garlic. And I'm sure you guys can hear my little cat in the background. She thinks she's getting fed. Then next we just have regular salt and pepper. I have a thing of garlic powder here. You can use garlic salt, but we're trying to cut back on our salt intake, so garlic powder works just fine. And last but not least here, we have onion powder. Oh, and one other thing here is you're going to need some eggs, because what we're going to do is we're going to make this into an egg wash. So the first thing we'll do, go ahead and crack 2 or 3 eggs in. We'll see how wet it needs to be. There's 3. Alright, we're going to try 3 first and foremost here. Don't want to forget the whisk, that's important. Now, I'm going to take 2 spoonfuls of this, I'd say about halfway filled with the garlic. You have to pick that up, about that much. I would say that's about 1, maybe 1.5 tablespoons. Next, take some pepper. It depends on how much you guys like pepper. In this household, we're all pepper crazy, so I'll put in about a teaspoon. Again, we're cutting back on our salt here, so I'm going to do about maybe half a teaspoon of salt. And all this is going to go into the egg wash. Next we have the garlic powder. Garlic powder, we're going to put in about a tablespoon. And you guys can measure this, but I've been making this for a while now, so I can kind of gauge just by looking at what goes in. And about the same with the onion powder. Okay. And I'm going to put one more surprise in here for you guys. Since we like a little heat in this family, I'm going to put a little bit of this Texas Pete hot sauce in there. And again, it doesn't have to be Texas Pete. It could be Tabasco or whatever your favorite hot sauce is. Go 1, 2, 3 dollops of that. Alright. And now we got to go ahead and whisk this. You want to make sure it's really nice and mixed together. About like that consistency. And you don't need a lot because, you know, all it is a light coating on the pork chops. So I'm going to go ahead and put the eggs away. And the very last ingredient you're going to need is Italian style breadcrumbs. These are the best for making anything breaded. I know they have other types out there, but in this family we really like our Italian breadcrumbs. I'm going to go ahead and pour, I would say about 1.5 cups, maybe 2 cups into there. Go ahead and open the pork chops. First thing you do, you stick it in the egg wash. And you want to make sure it gets all over in there. Flip it around 3 or 4 times if you have to. And we go right into the breadcrumbs. And I don't mind using my hands because I'll wash them afterwards. And again, you want to make sure it gets really nicely coated. So go over that 3 or 4, even maybe 5 times, as much as you need. Alright, just finished breading all the pork chops, and this is what they look like. Now you can see there's a nice even coating on here. That's because I was pretty liberal with the breadcrumbs. You don't want to be skimpy because after you finish cooking these, when you're trying to eat it, some is going to fall off, so definitely want a good amount on there. Cook time for this is going to depend on several factors. Depends mainly how thick your pork chops are. These are pretty thin, so cooking time on this should be anywhere between 30 to 60 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. If you guys elsewhere want to know what that is in Celsius, just Google it and it'll tell you. I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven, and I will show you what they look like when they're finished. So stay tuned, everybody. Thought I'd go ahead and show you guys what we're going to have as the side dish with this meal this evening. I decided to choose this Jennifer's Garden Oriental blend vegetable mix. These can be had at any the local Dollar Trees you may have that carry frozen foods. You get this whole 14-ounce bag for $1, and it includes, let's see what we have in here. You got broccoli, green beans, red peppers, white onions, and water chestnuts. And steamed and heated up, these are absolutely delicious, and they're very nutritious for you. So if you want to eat right, this is the way to go. Easy way to cook these. You open the bag up, and you basically want to steam it any way that you can steam it. What we like to use here are these little microwavable steam containers. What you do is you pour the vegetables in here, then you go over to the sink and you add just a little bit of water, about 1/2 cup of water. It's not even enough to actually see it, but it's just enough so that when it's in the microwave, the vegetables don't start burning. Then you stick the lid on, just like this, and you heat this in the microwave 3 to 5 minutes depending on the intensity of your microwave. And the one other thing we're going to do with this meal, we're just going to have some mashed potatoes. Now, since this is going to be a quick dinner tonight, I like to use just these Idaho spuds. These are instant mashed potatoes. Here's the information on how to cook it. It's fairly simple. You look at how many people are going to be eating, so the serving size. You get a big pot out. You add the right amount of water, margarine or butter, salt, milk, and then you heat that up until a boil. Turn the flame off, and then you add the potato flakes and stir. And that's all there is to making instant mashed potatoes. So those are the 2 side dishes we're going to have with our meal tonight. Alright. Alright, we're back. Getting ready to cook these delicious looking pork chops. First thing I have to do is preheat the oven to 350. So bake and 350. Now what you want to do is put a little bit of oil on the bottom of your pans. I'm using this old Pyrex pan and the stoneware pan. Please note, everybody, if you're using the stoneware, you can't really preheat the oven but for a couple of minutes, so I have to do this fairly quickly. So I'm going to dribble just a little bit of olive oil in each of the pans. About that much will suffice. You want to kind of just move it around a little bit, but as it cooks, it'll coat the bottom of the pans eventually. Alright. Go ahead and put our delicious looking pork chops in. Move this one over here. Alright, now you want to give them a little bit of space. If you push them together, they tend to kind of stick together and they won't be as moist. So about like that should be fine. And I know I didn't need this really big one, but it'll be okay. I don't mind doing some cleaning afterwards. Alright, next. Go ahead and put these in the oven. Now I'm going to move you guys up a little bit. Now, you don't want to put these towards the bottom, especially like this being a gas oven. It'll wind up cooking too rapidly. So you want this one either on the top rack or one rack down from the top. We have this one down from the very top position. When you stick them in the oven, you stick one on each side. Now if you have a smaller oven and you can't fit the two full cooking pots in there, what you can actually do is move this rack to the top and then move the middle rack to the second one from the top, and vice versa. So basically, bear in mind, just keep it as close to the top as possible. And shut it. And again, that's going to take anywhere from 40 to 60 minutes to cook. And I'll show you guys what they look like and the finished product. And with the magic of video editing, that'll be in just a moment. Alright, let's check these pork chops. They're looking really good. They're sizzling up nicely. One thing I want to do real quick is I want to go ahead and flip them over. Now I didn't coat the top with any olive oil because I didn't want these to be too greasy. So just halfway through we're going to go ahead and flip them over. Getting a little of the breadcrumb coming off, but that's okay. That's why we put extra on. Now that they're all flipped over, back into the oven. They're looking pretty good. I'd say we got about maybe another 20 or 30 minutes. Alright, it's time to take the pork chops out. Alright, let's take you guys off the tripod. Put some light on this. And here is the finished product. As you can see, the breadcrumbs stayed on pretty well. Even that spot where it came off when I flipped them looks like it's pretty much covered itself again. Now the final test here is to go ahead and cut into one of them. Alright, and as you can see, they are done. So that's it. Until next time, have a blessed day, everybody.